everyone, this is Tanya here from EDU TV. I welcome you all to this esteemed gathering today. It is my great privilege to stand before you today to inaugurate this virtual Counselors Colloquium organized by EDU TV. And I would want to express my heartfelt appreciation to all of you for joining us on this special occasion. As we all know that education today is not just about acquiring knowledge, it's more about empowering individuals to share their destinies. In this belief that has fueled our dedication to creating platforms like today's Counselors Colloquium, where we've all come together to strengthen the bridge between schools and universities. I First of all, would want to welcome Professor Dr. Pant. I'm sure everybody in the education fraternity knows him, so I'm not going to take much time to introduce him. His name itself is a good introduction for him. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Right. I would also want to extend our deepest gratitude to Mrs. Alka Avasthi, the principal of the Mayur School, Noida, for her unwavering support and enthusiasm for this event, and her commitment to the education industry is an inspiration for all of us. Today, we are honored to have participation of esteemed school counselors from various institutions. You can also see a few names in my backdrop, which gives you an idea as to we have counselors from which all schools joining in. Counselors, your presence here reflects your dedication to guiding and nurturing the next generation of learners. I would also want to welcome distinguished experts who have joined us from different institutions. We have Mr. Dennis Richard from Avantika University. We have Mr. Rupesh Sinha from Rishihood University. We have Mr. Ashutosh from Vijay Bhumi University. Ms. Charushila Nerula from University Connections. Dr. Neha Vashisht from the Shobit University, and Mr. Manik Gupta from the Mentor. Sir, ma'am, your expertise and experiences enrich our discussions today. Professor Pant, we would want you to start with the things as the speaker, the starting note from your end, the welcome note from your end, please. Sir, the idea of today's conference is to discuss about the various career options that are available for students these days, and what are the things that the counselors should keep in mind, because as counselors, they are the ones who talk to the students in person every day, and they have a lot of queries and things in their mind as to how should the funding be taken care of. I'm sure Ms. Charushila, Mr. Manik, and the others will be able to help us out in that, and the various things that are available for the students now, the next generation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. And I must compliment EDU TV for putting together a thing like this, because we do not normally see that. And very often, students opt for some stream, some institute, something without knowing much about it. In fact, I think it is a very important aspect, responsibility of all of us, to create some modules, which obviously the counselors can help in most in telling them why you should. So, for example, I have a general thing like an algebraic formula. Why learn X? Why learn physics? Why learn geography? Why learn mathematics? Why learn computing? Why learn quantum? Why learn biotech? Why learn this? There should be something. Children just get fascinated by some aspect of something, and they decide they will do that. I think this is something which is very important, and I think it is a very important role of schools and counselors and especially higher education institutions who are telling them what they should be pursuing at home. The very interesting story, which many of you must have heard from Abdul Kalam himself. So when Abdul Kalam was asked, why did you choose to do rocket science, so to say? And he said it was a school teacher in some school in Rameshwaram who took them to the beach and showed them how birds fly. And he said, not only I got interested in birds flying, but in flying itself. And I became a rocket scientist. And this he has said in one of his interviews. So this is an important point that we need to do. And what is more challenging is, and I pity the parents, because the parents have seen a world of a few decades ago. Now, what was exciting in their world, what was new in their world, is no longer exciting and new today. You know that, I mean, you don't have to go very far. You just imagine. We've just had the Chandrayaan 3. All children will be curious. Why Chandrayaan-3? So you said there was one Chandrayaan-1, Chandrayaan-2. Why did it go to the south pole of the moon? You have to start explaining all that to them and then get them interested in the whole thing about space. And you have barely talked about Chandrayaan. They will hear there is something called Aditya L1 also happening. And Aditya L1 is an expedition about finding out what is happening in the sun. And the whole thing is about solar physics. So the point, and before you do that, there's another thing coming up called the LIGO, L-I-G-O, Laser Interferometer Gravitational Observatory, which is looking at gravitational waves. And you do all this, and then there is a national quantum mission, which is saying that India must progress in making a quantum computer, quantum communication, quantum sensors, quantum materials, and so on. And it is only higher education institutions and counselors which can tell people that this is the way for you. This is the future that you are going to be prepared for, and what kind of an education you must have to be able to fit into that future. A collaboration and cooperation rather than a competition is what would be really good. And because I want to be brief and introduce, I want to draw attention to a story which many of you would not know, but I know firsthand. So you probably know that I was a faculty in IIT Kanpur for about 10 years from 1970 to 1980. Obviously, I'm a great admirer of IIT Kanpur. And today the record also shows head of, see, the head of IBM Quantum, Arvind Krishnan, is from IIT Kanpur. There are so many others from IIT Kanpur, or Sundar Pichai from IIT Kharagpur, and so on. So I'm talking about the IIT system in general, but in particular, I'm talking about IIT Kanpur. And this is a message which is very important for this session. Why did IIT Kanpur become so effective, different, and so on? Not many people know that when IIT Kanpur was in its formative years in 1960s, there was a 10-year-long, what was called a Kanpur Indo-American program. 10 US institutions, I'm not saying universities because some of them were called Institute of Technology, etc. They partnered with IIT Kanpur for 10 years to put this together and exchange ideas, knowledge, professors, etc., etc. And they were like MIT, Caltech, Carnegie Mellon, Purdue, so many. Now, that was a big mission, a very good vision, hasn't been repeated after that, but this is no less. If you have some more than 10, 20 universities telling students what they have to offer, what is interesting, etc., a student can really mix and match what they want to do. And in future, there will probably be a mix of online and on-site education. So they could do on-site courses from one university, online from another, and so on and so forth. And today, you have to be fluent in a number of things. A jack of all trades, master of one is an ancient history. Today, you want to be a Jill of all trades and master of some. It is not enough to know only one thing. So you need to, for example, you don't need to know technology and you need to know business management. And probably you need to know psychology to succeed in the world. You need to know how humans behave, how you can move with this thing. If you cannot relate to people, you will find. So you may find that psychology, anthropology, sociology, all these also have a role. And you're learning for a lifetime. It's not only for 4 years. So 4 years or 6 years or 2 years for a degree is one thing. That's the beginning of your lifelong learning journey. You will continue to learn lifelong, and this is why you will be all. So I think the counselors and the institutions have a very important role in talking about it and answering specific questions also. Because a person may have a specific question, and there should be able to be a reasonable answer to that. So I think with this, you will have a great start, and I wish all the students and counselors a very good time. And obviously, in future editions of this, you will become better and better. So all the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Pant.